Okay, good morning everyone. I hope you all are well and doing well and getting up for the examination. The final countdown has begun. So those of you who are going to appear in prelims 2021, right, this is the hype time. February is going to be over in just a few days and you will be left with March, April, May, right? So speed up your preparation part and now focus on the current aspect regarding every topic. That is very, very important. And simultaneously do the revision of the core areas. The static part you should revise, right? Now today the topics will be on indigenous technology development in India. We will cover the first topic of that. Then we will go into certain government programs, right? But later part again we will be going through many such programs while our discussion on different topics of science and technology. But I'll give you a glimpse, an overview of some important scientific programs which are there in the country. And we'll go to the space technology. Now today I have already provided you a handout. If you see in your login page, you have a handout on space exploration. So already a handout has been uploaded there. You have a class handout. This handout I will be discussing not now. When I'll start the topic of space science and technology, there I will be going through this handout, right? After we have covered a few concept part, then I'll tell you what I have given in the handout there. Now this handout is from a very important institution called NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling. What does NIOS stands for? This document is from chapter number 33 of Science and Technology part of National Institute of Open Schooling, that is in Noida, right? So it has prepared this document. Even if you do the Google search, if you do the Google search space exploration NIOS, you will get the same document. So I have downloaded from the net and has given you as a handout, right? Basically, this is the chapter number 33 from the study material of school level. At the school level, on the space exploration part, the same material I have given to the Vision IS and that has been uploaded. So kindly download this material, right? You have to download from the login page. You have to download this document and whatever your device is there, right? We will be using for the discussion purpose, right? So that is the first part which I wanted to make you on, just tell you in the classroom there. And space science and technology, we are going to learn important concepts there. I believe if you take any subject of general studies, GS paper, if you take any subject, whether it is a science and technology or history or geography or Indian polity or economic, you take any subject, every subject with their core topics, with the core concepts, there are keywords, right? There are certain keywords are there. So is true with the science and technology. There are certain keywords related to technological aspect there. And that has to be remembered. So what I want to make you understand that one part which is required in science and technology is that clarity of the concepts. You have to have clear understanding of the concepts, right? Many students I have found, they just simply rote memorize. They simply memorize the whatever the textbook or study material, right? Whatever sources are there. They simply keep on memorization. Memorization helps in remembering facts. When you have to go through the facts, for that memorization is important, but not for the concept. Concepts you cannot memorize. You need understanding. And with understanding, and it has to be crystal clear understanding, right? It has to be a very clear understanding there. Since today I will be covering concept of space science and technology, understanding of key areas, that becomes very important. important concepts understanding becomes very important. And you'll find with respect to when you solve MCQ, right, when you solve MCQ question, right, you'll find that there will be certain keywords will be there. It will use certain keywords. And these keywords are related to the key topics and the areas there, right? So understanding becomes very, very important for subject like science and technology, right? We will be covering a lot of areas in space technology like orbit. What do you mean by orbit? Classification of orbit, geostationary, geosynchronous, right? Polar orbit, like a sun synchronous polar orbit. We will also discuss about areas of low Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit, high Earth orbit, right? Several key concepts will be discussed in today's class, and related keywords, you have to remember that. So, I have already given you handout, plus there will be whiteboard. I will be using class handout, plus there will be a whiteboard writing there part. So whatever I'll use in the whiteboard writing part, right, you have to copy it. This has to be copied. Right, all of you have to copy it, copied by students, right? You have to be copied. Here you have to copy it, because you should not just simply think that later part, right, after the live classes will be over and then you will again log into the login panel, you watch the video again and try to remember. You don't have much time for that, right? I personally believe that live classes is similar to your physical class, right? You all are not in the classroom, right? You all are not in the classroom, right? But through the live class, what you are watching right now, right? Whatever things are delivered to you on the online platform, right, is similar to the classroom teaching, right? When you are at your home or your workplace and you are writing the everything, then you are utilizing the time then and there only, rather than waiting for 11th hour. I know that today is Sunday, right? Today is Sunday and is a weekend time, and you have number of commitments, right? Personal commitments, right? I too have my personal commitment. But since you all have decided that you have to clear the civil service examination, right? And you have to become civil servant of the country. So you have to sacrifice, right? Sacrifice is very important. So don't worry. I know that you may be sometimes feeling demotivated, sometimes we be feeling very worried, right? We all are there to help you out, right? The task of a teacher, a faculty, is not just to teach, right? It's a kind of lifelong relationship. A teacher and a taught, right? Guru and Shishya. That parampara is there for a long time in India, right? So though you are able to see me, right? Though you are able to go through the entire classroom, what I will be delivering right now, I have not seen you, right? I don't know who are there behind the camera, right? But I know that whatever I'll teach in the classroom, and if you properly follow it, it will be beneficial for you. And I always keep on requesting my students that be active learner, not be passive. If you are login to your Vision IS portal and you are in the live class, you have to be active learner rather than just simply being a passive person, right? And if you are an active learner during the live session, you are going to remember everything in this hard disk, right? This hard disk, the brain, the memory, it will be all here. And this will pay you off in the examination hall. When you will be appear in the examination, you will be able to recall what you have learned during the live classes, right? So that's what I have said here, that you have to use the handout. I will come to the handout when it is required. Not now. When it is required, I will be coming to the handout, right? But for time being, whatever I am going to cover in the classroom, you have to follow that. Now, Vision IS provides you self-test questions, right? You have 4-5 multiple choice questions on the basis of the topics which is covered which are covered in the previous class. So what I'll do here, very quickly, go through the area of the question there, right? Now let's look at here questions which have been given you, self-test question there, right? Self-test questions have been designed in such a way that it helps you prepare in terms of attempting the question, just like a mock test, right? It helps you, give you the kind of understanding and the preparation for the mock test kind of thing there, right? Now here you have 5 multiple choice questions as part of self-test, right? And let me now discuss them one by one. The first question is that DRDO is involved in scientific research in the fields of number 1, aeronautics, number 2, armaments, number 3, food technology, number 4, biotechnology, number 5, clean technology, right? Here the answer will be all of them. You get the answer there, you all have the answer key there. DRDO was set up in 1958, right? As a lab, as a scientific organization to develop critical technologies for defense, right? Whether it is armaments and ammunition, missile technology, right? Aeronautics and avionics, right? Then in terms of naval system, right? Electronics warfare. At the same time, the welfare of the armed personnel, military personnel, right? Indian Army, Air Force, Navy, right? Their benefits. DRDO labs also conduct research in the field of life sciences, right? And biotechnology. There are certain labs of the DRDO which conduct research in the field of biotechnology and life sciences, right? So that is another aspect which many people are not aware about the role of DRDO part of it. Now clean technology. You all are aware that today's time the environmental problems, environmental pollution, right? Greenhouse gases, air pollution, water pollution, land degradation and pollution, right? At the same time, global warming, climate change issue there, right? So there are a lot of problems regarding the environmental aspect, and that is because of human development, human activities. So another aspect which comes in context of environment and ecology and science and technology, that is a clean technology. Through research and development, right? Finding out or developing new and better technology, cleaner technology, right? Eco-friendly technology, which will minimize the wastage, right? Which will generate less pollutants, which will not contaminate much to the air, water, soil, which will not affect human health and living organisms. Again, DRDO labs work on that one. Right? DRDO today is a very big organization. It has more than 50 labs and establishments, and DRDO scientists, thousands of scientists work on different areas of technology, right? So the question number 1, the answer will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The D as an answer. Now question number 2, which of the following statements about ISRO are correct? Number 1, ISRO was established much before the establishment of the Department of Space. Number 2, ISRO builds satellites and payloads for other countries. Number 3, ISRO provides data to the neighboring countries for their socio-economic development, right? So in this context, the options given are A, 1 only, B, 1 and 2 only, C, 2 and 3 only, and D, 1, 2, 3. Now let me provide you here. DRDO as a lab was set up, right? DRDO was established in 1958, right? ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, came into existence in 1969, right? So 2019, ISRO has already completed Golden Jubilee, 1969, 1969, 1969 ISRO was set up. Whereas the DOS, right, it comes under Department of Space, right, which comes under Prime Minister Office. DOS was there in 1972, right? So ISRO was set up before Department of Space. Department of Space came into existence in 1972, whereas the Indian Space Research Organization was formed in 1969. right? What is the first statement? The first statement says that ISRO was established much before the establishment of the Department of Space. That is a correct statement. Now number two, second statement. ISRO have built satellites and payload for other countries. That's true. PSLV C-51, Amazonia 1, a Brazilian satellite has been launched, right? Over the last 20 years, ISRO has been launching many of foreign satellites of other countries. We will be discussing that one in the space science and technology topic, but that statement is true. Now third statement, you have ISRO provides data to the neighboring countries for the socio-economic development. Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, right? We have one very important communication satellite called GSAT-9. We will be discussing those satellites, the GSAT and INSAT system. ISRO has built GSAT and INSAT system. That is a multi-purpose communication satellite system. And GSAT-9, right, which is called South Asian satellite. What satellite? South Asian satellite. Where in terms of providing multiple application with the help of communication satellite, GSAT-9, we are helping our neighbors. Right? Only Pakistan opted out. Right? Except Pakistan, all other SAARC countries, SAARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, the group of the countries there, except Pakistan, all other SAARC nations are benefiting from GSAT-9, which is a South Asian satellite built by ISRO. All right. Now coming to here, the third question is, so question number 2 answer is D for Delhi. Now question number 3, DRDO and headquarter, organization headquarter. So DRDO New Delhi is correct, ISRO Bangalore is correct, and BARC Mumbai is also correct. Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Trombay, right? Trombay, that is center comes. So all of these are correct. Answer is D 1, 2, 3. Now question number 4, we will be covering in space science and technology. We will be going through the topic of our launch vehicles or launchers. Which of the following is not a launch vehicle used by ISRO? Question is which is not. Sometimes in the exam hall you have to be very careful reading question. Incorrect, not correct, right? Such kind of words are there. You have to be very, very careful in interpreting the question there. ISRO first built SLV, satellite launch vehicle. That was the experimental satellite, right? Then came ASLV, augmented satellite launch vehicle. Both SLV and ASLV were experimental rockets, right? Then in 1992, PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Even today we are using PSLV, right? And then in 2001, GSLV, Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, right? So the launchers or the rockets or launch vehicles developed by ISRO are SLV, ASLV, PSLV, GSLV, not HSLV. So here wrong one, not correct is the D for Delhi, right? So question 4 answer is D. HSLV is not there. Now question 5, the last one. Atomic program in India started even before independence. That's correct. I have already said that 1948, just after independence, we went for atomic energy program, right? And Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha, who is the father of atomic energy program, chalked out 3 stages nuclear power program for India. We will be covering that topic in the classroom. Our first stage is PHWR, second stage is FBR, and third one is AHWR, thorium based utilization. So we have chalked out 3 stages of nuclear power program. So it is correct statement. Now comes here, what is question here? India started even before independence. That is wrong, right? When atomic energy program started in India? After independence, right? When the atomic energy program started in India? Just after independence, 1948. What does the statement say? Statement says that atomic program in India started even before independence. Before word is wrong. So statement number 1 is wrong. Now second one, DRDO was founded in 1958. That is correct. So question number 5, the answer will be only statement 2 is correct. B for Bombay. Only statement 2 is correct. What is statement number 2? That DRDO was formed in 1958. That is correct. Whereas the statement number 1, that India started atomic energy program before independence, that is incorrect. That is wrong. 1948, after the independence, India went for atomic energy program. So such kind of question, two statement type question. So question number 5 answer is B, B for Bombay or B for Banaras. That is the only statement 2 is correct. Then I have given you that classroom assignment and all this one, right? Is it clear here? So every day, every class, you have to go through the self-test question, right? You have to go through the self-test question and try to revise it. Because when you solve the self-test question, you will try to find out answer. And in the process of finding out answers, you will be learning more. You will be getting more information, right? More knowledge. So please always try to solve self-test question. And I'm not saying only for my subject, right? Whatever subject classes you are having, whether history or polity or whichever subject, you must do the self-test question. And write assignment question. My humble request to everyone is that please try to write assignment question and submit for correction. You are getting a very good benefit from Vision IS classroom program that your answers are corrected with the feedback. Make use of that, right? You all have paid for it, right? You all have paid for it, right? You all have paid for this program, right? Which you are attending right now. So make best use of that, right? Don't let your money be a wastage. So please write assignment question and submit for evaluation, right? Don't wait for last moment. I am telling again and again. Most of students, I will tell you 90% of students have this kind of bad habits that they do it at the last moment. Please don't do that. It will not help in UPSC exam. Clear? So I hope that you will follow my or whatever instructions I am providing in the classroom. Now what we will do in the classroom is that we will go to the question what I gave last class, indigenization of technologies or development of indigenous technologies in India. We will first discuss that part, right? Then we'll go later part into the science tech programs, and then finally we'll go into the space program. We'll be moving to the space program there, right? So let's now discuss the this part, indigenization of technology. Since it is given in your main examination GS3 paper, right, in general study third paper of main examination, it is very clearly mentioned about indigenization of technology, right? So let us discuss this particular topic there. And I have already given you assignment question yesterday. Now what do you mean by first thing here? When we use the word indigenization, right, or indigenous, see the two terms are there, indigenous, indigenization. You have to understand it very carefully. Indigenous means local. Anything which is developed at the local level, right, that is indigenous, right? Sometimes you say indigenous community, local community, right? Indigenization means when we work to develop local technology, right? So what is the first meaning here? When we use the word indigenization technology, the first context, it comes here, it refers to development of new technologies, right, with the help of research, that is a research and development, R&D, at the national level. What is the meaning of the word indigenization technology? It refers to development of local technology, right? The national level technology or new technology that is through the research and development, right? So that is the first one. Second context what comes here, when we take the word indigenization here, I have said in the classroom that when India became independent, right, we didn't have enough of resources. We cannot fund too much into R&D, and we didn't have a technological base, right? That time, 60 years back, India needed support of the well advanced countries, those countries which are already advanced, like USA, France, then Soviet Union that time, Canada. So we have to take the help of those kind of countries. So what we did at that time was that we transferred technology. We went for TOT. India signed agreement with foreign countries and their companies, right, their manufacturer, original equipment manufacturer, what is called OEM, and we transferred the technology, right? We bought the technology. Either we leased out, we did with leased out, or we licensed it out, right? And we tried to manufacture and use in the country. Then I told you in the classroom yesterday that there was a turning point in the development of technologies in India. That was 1974 when India conducted first nuclear test, that is the Smiling Buddha in Pokhran in Rajasthan, Pokhran 1 test. And India faced a lot of restrictions, a lot of sanctions, right? In that context, many of important imports were denied to India. We were not able to get that. There were a number of restrictive regimes like Nuclear Suppliers Group, MTCR, Australia Group, Wassenaar Arrangement. So India had to face a lot of problems there. So what we thought then, that why don't whatever we have transferred from foreign countries, we go for indigenization to build self-reliance in technology domain, right? So what is the second meaning of the term indigenization? Second context which comes here, that is it refers to modification. Indian brains, Indian brains are very, very smart. Our engineers, our scientists. There's something called reverse engineering. What is called? Reverse engineering. We open up everything, we go reverse and try to understand the processes and the product. Reverse engineer it. And then we do the modification, changes, as per our need, as per our demand. Right? We make changes. And that is also indigenization and develop indigenous technology. So what is another thing here? It refers to modification of existing technology. Right? Modification of existing technology, right, which has been obtained by transfer of technology agreement, transfer of technology, what is called TOT agreement. Such contract and agreement which Government of India, central government signed, right, had a deal with other countries. Let's say France or USA or Russia, Israel, whichever country you want to take there. So what I've given here, indigenization of technology also refers to modification of existing technology which we obtain by transfer of technology agreement, right, signed by the Government of India with foreign countries. See, in foreign countries, there are well-developed private sectors. Right, in terms of industries, if you look at big industries, big private players in USA, Russia, France, Germany, all these countries are there. So they have well-developed those kind of things. But in India, right from after the independence, we have been always centralized funding to government organizations, scientific organizations, right? Very little scope was given to the private players or private companies. But in foreign countries, private companies, they're well developed and we have a deal with them, right? We have a deal with them. So what I've given here, what is another meaning of indigenization? It refers to changes made to the existing technology. Modification of existing technology obtained by transfer technology agreement signed by the Government of India with foreign countries. And how do we do the modification? We again have to do research, right? Again for indigenization, we need to do the research part, right? So what happens here in this case there? There is development, right? What happens here? There is a development of new technologies through what I've said here, modification or reverse engineering. And modification. We go for changes there. Modification of processes and product through research and development, through scientific research and development, R&D, to meet national needs. Whatever the national needs are there, that needs to be satisfied. Right? So, what is the third point here? Third point I have given here, there is a development of new technology through reverse engineering and modification of processes and products through R&D to meet national needs. Our missiles, let's say Agni series of missiles, right? That is an intermediate range ballistic missile to long range ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, let's say Agni 5, right? Or let's say submarine, INS Arihant, which is nuclear powered submarine, the reactor which propel, right, Arihant, the underwater, undersea, the nuclear powered submarine, that is the reactor is built by BARC, PSLV, GSLV, Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle. The upper cryogenic engine, upper stage uses, the third upper stage of GSLV launch vehicle uses cryogenic engine. That is again indigenous technology. Right? We have built an advanced light helicopter, ALH Dhruv. Right? HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, has developed that. Tejas, light combat aircraft, LCA Tejas. HAL has built that. It's all indigenous technology. Indigenization. We design, we develop. Right? So, first you have to define, first you have to understand what is the meaning of the word indigenization. First you have to understand this context. This is very, very important for everyone has to understand this particular aspect. What do you mean by indigenization? Right? Then we'll see the issues and concerns, challenges. We'll see that one, right? That's what yesterday I gave you the homework assignment so that you should read, you should think about it and try to write about it. I don't know how many of you have written that. Let me ask the question. How many of you have attempted yesterday's question? Tell me very frankly, very honestly, right? Very honestly tell me that how many of you tried to write assignment question of yesterday which I gave in the classroom? How many of you tried with that? Let me see the response. How many of you tried that? So, dear children, right? Dear aspirants, you all are matured people now, right? You all are grown up. You're preparing for UPSC examination, right? Why I'm telling you again and again that please don't leave at the 11th hour, right? If a teacher gives you any assignment question every class, right, you have to do it, right? Now, if you don't do it, nothing can be done, right? It's your fate. It's your fate. It's your destiny, right? You have to decide your own destiny. A teacher will come to the class, will deliver the lecture, will try to make you understand key concept. But again, you have to, work hard. Okay? See, Kumar Singh, he has done. Prashant has done. Ipsit has done. Right? Abhishek has done. Right? So I'm getting few of the reply. But I'm sure in your batch, there many students are there. Right? So, jago pyare, jago mohan pyare. Right? It's a high time. Wake up. Don't leave it at the last moment. Anyway, it's up to you. So, is it clear here? What is the meaning of the term indigenization? This part is clear there? Alright. Now what I'm coming here, what are the benefits of indigenization? Right? Now before go to the benefits, what do you have to do? You have to give examples, right? You have to come out with examples. So let us write examples, few examples of indigenous technologies. So the examples if you look at, So in space science and technology, PSLV, then GSLV. In GSLV, the third upper stage cryogenic engine. Now we have developed this cryogenic engine, right? Originally this engine, cryogenic engine, most of the technologies, remember that we have transferred through the deals with Russia or Soviet Union. Our rocket technology, our satellite technology, right? First we have got the support from Soviet Union. Now the present is the Russia. From Russia we got the support and we developed that, right? From Russia, we have got that one. Cryogenic engine also we bought from Russia. And then we modified it to develop as per our GSLV, not any other country's GSLV. We have built GSAT or INSAT communication satellite as per India's needs, right? Our scientists did the research and developed as per Indian requirement, right? Then I have said here that in terms of here, if you take example missiles, there is Agni missile, Agni series of missile, right? Or I'll give you just a simple Agni 5, which is intercontinental ballistic missile. Then INS Arihant, nuclear powered submarine. Then what comes in news? LCA Tejas, the fighter craft. MiG-21, MiG-29, Sukhoi, they are Russian fighter crafts, right? Dassault Rafale, which from, we have now got the Rafale there. Rafale is from France. That is not indigenous. We will not call them indigenous. They are simply purchased from outside and delivered to India, right? But if you talk about Tejas, Tejas has been designed and developed in India, right? Arihant has been designed and developed in India, but this has happened through transfer of technology, right? So there are many examples. You can take many such examples in terms of indigenization technology. You should always give your examples, right? Examples becomes very, very important. ये प्रोजेक्टर बंद कर दीजिए. Okay, now let's look at here. What are the benefits of indigenization? What benefit a country can achieve, can get from indigenization process? So benefits of indigenization. Of technologies are, you can write many such benefits. There is not one or 2 points there. You can write several points there. I'll give you certain points here, right? Like for example, the first benefit can be here, which we have discussed in the classroom, that is in terms of building self-reliance. Right? Now we are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat or whatever program we are talking about there, but building the self-reliance in the country, right? That comes the first one. Second, it has also the economic angle. It will boost the manufacturing in the country. It will help in growing the manufacturing sector, like Make in India program. We can develop our own kind of indigenous technology and again manufacture it. And we can create our own market for our own product to the other country. We can also sell to the other countries, like Vietnam. Vietnam wants to buy BrahMos missile, BrahMos cruise missile, which has been developed by India and Russia joint project, supersonic cruise missile. We want to sell it out. Helicopters, number of helicopters, warship, right? We sell it to the Mauritius and other small countries. They buy from India. So it has also economic angle. So not only the self-reliance, the first thing is the self-reliance part of what comes here. Second, it also promotes, right? Promotes research and development in the country. Many scientists will be part of the programs, part of the projects, and they will develop such new technology. So that gives a boost to the research program in the country. And we have to go higher. We are a developing country, right? India is a developing country. But we have to grow to a higher level. We have to also become top ranking countries in the world, right? So research becomes a very critical area. Then what comes here? It helps in manufacturing. Manufacturing of components, whatever the components or parts of equipments. Within the country, So this will support what? Job. It will support the job market. Right? It will help in the creation of jobs and employment. Right? So it will help in what? Creation of jobs, creation of employment, jobs, employment. Scientists will get hired, right? And scientists will get jobs to do the part of it, right? So it will help in creation of jobs and employments, right? That will be benefit another from indigenization. Again, another point of that, if we can create market, creation of a market, foreign market, like where we can sell to other countries, foreign markets for Indian technology, for Indian technologies worldwide, right? So we can create that one, and the other countries can buy such kind of technologies there, right? There's several points you can write. There's not one or two points. You can write so many points there. I'm just trying to give you an idea. I'm just trying to provide you certain ideas so that when you write answer, you should know what exactly the points are there, right? So that part comes here. Now, what are challenges here? The fifth part comes here, challenges. See, when you talk about challenges or issues or problems, right, challenges and all this one, you have to discuss from three perspectives: global, national, organizational, right? Either at the organization level, ISRO, DRDO, BARC, whichever may be that, or at the national level from the country perspective, or at the international level, global perspective. So what I will give here, if we see the challenges here of indigenization from global perspective, right? From global level here, the first comes here, that is a IPR restriction. Intellectual property rights, right? Patent, design right. So when a foreign country sign a deal with India, they don't want to lose the market, right? They don't want to lose the market. They would like to keep on India as their market of the product, so that India keep on buying the product from them and earn money from India. So what they do when they have a TOT, transfer of technology agreement, they put IPR clause. What is IPR clause? That the patent or design right and all this are with the parent company, the parent original company, the foreign country, their companies. And India cannot do any kind of copycat or any kind of reverse engineering or any kind of modification, right? IPR, if you talk about, particularly for patent is filed, patent is obtained for invention, right? And patent has a duration of 20 years. So now imagine for 20 years, India cannot make changes to the product and develop own, right? So what will happen that after 20 years, when India go for indigenization, by that time the technology becomes outdated. What will happen by that time? By that time technologies will become outdated. And in 20 years time frame, the country from where we have had a deal and we bought it from France or European country or America, whichever country, by 20 years time frame, they will develop even more advanced technology. And if we go for indigenization, so whatever technology we develop on the indigenous technology, indigenization of the previous technology, it will become outdated. So it has happened with many of the technologies what we have developed in the past, right? So what is the challenge here? One is the IPR restriction clause in TOT agreement. Second, at the global level is the geopolitical situation. Like, India, Pakistan, India, China, right, that situation like. So geopolitical situation can hamper, can obstruct the TOT or the deal, right? That can be another problem there. So geopolitical situation affects transfer of technology, right? And another global perspective can be what? There's certain restrictive regime, like Nuclear Suppliers Group, MTCR, right? Missile Technology Control Regime. I'll just give you one good example. BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, right? When India and Russia came together to develop this important missile in India, cruise missile, what happened in that case? Russia was the member of MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime. They control all the missile and technology related to that, right? But India was not a member. At that time, India was not a member. Now, according to MTCR, a member party can transfer the technology to a non-member party for such cruise technology, what we wanted to develop, cruise missile, the range should have been less than 300 kilometers. Range has to be there less than 300 kilometers, with the payload capacity also limited. So since earlier, India was not the member, Russia was the member. So when the BrahMos missile was developed, so what happened in that context? That we had to keep the range less than 300 kilometers. But now, at present, India has become a member. At present, India has become a member of MTCR. Now we are updating BrahMos cruise missile to 400 plus kilometers. And we are also developing hypersonic version of BrahMos missile. Right? So that is what I am trying to make you understand. Nuclear Suppliers Group. After Pokhran 1, 1974, Nuclear Suppliers Group formed, NSG, to restrict the nuclear commerce, particularly for those countries who have not signed NPT, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Like India has not signed, Pakistan has not signed, Israel has not signed, right? North Korea joined and then came out, violated the treaty. So in that context, the transfer of technologies for the nuclear technology again became restricted. So geopolitical situation becomes very, very important. And in this context, what comes here? Restrictive trade regime, right? That can also hamper it. Regimes such as Nuclear Suppliers Group, NSG, Missile Technology Control Regime, MTCR, Australia Group, AG, Wassenaar Arrangement, WA, right, etc. prevents. What they do? They prevents transfer of technology to non-member countries, the non-member parties. Now, India has gained entry. See, India has gained entry to MTCR. Now we have become the member of MTCR, right? And also the Australia Group, and also the Wassenaar Arrangement, right? But still we are not able to gain entry to NSG. India has managed to gain membership of MTCR, Australia Group and all, but we have been struggling to get the membership of NSG because of China factor. China, our neighbor, opposed India's membership to Nuclear Suppliers Group on the ground of NPT, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, right? So that's where the problem comes there, right? That's where the it has become a kind of a challenging thing there. All right. So this is at the global level I have given. Now what can be the next challenges here? At the national level. Right? Next what can come be there? We can discuss that. That is at national level. There can be many points you can write. First is that lack of policies, lack of policies supporting indigenization. Government of India in the past there have been lacuna where such policy frameworks were not there, right? Second can be what? Lack of funding, financial incentives given to organization, that can be a problem. What can be third one? We don't have expertise, lack of expertise in the country in terms of developing such kind of indigenous technology in India. Right? We don't have the trained manpower, trained scientists to deal with that part, right? So lack of expertise can be another issue in terms of that, right? So then lack of manufacturing base here, hardware component there. So there can be many such problem which may be there in the country there, right? And what third you can write there? Third you can write about organizational level, scientific organization level, you can write the point there. So what can be at organization level there? The first one is that lack of autonomy, There is not enough for decision-making power to the scientific organization to take the decision of their own to develop indigenous technology, right? That can be lack of autonomy. Then sometimes in terms of getting approval from the central ministry and the department, the file has to go to the central government, which will approve that particular project, whether India will have Chandrayaan 2 or Chandrayaan 3 or Gaganyaan mission, whether India will develop such a advanced 5th generation fighter craft, whether India is going to have a thorium reactor. All approvals are done by the central level, central government. And bureaucratic delay. So there can be sometime red tapeism, right? There's a bureaucratic delay. The Babu, the term Babu, IS Babu, right? Babus and their Babudom, right? Which has not changed that much. So that can be a hindrance, right? The bureaucratic delay in approval of the project, right? So unless until DRDO or ISRO or BARC or CSIR or whatever lab you take, unless until they don't get the support of the government, they don't get approved the project will not start. Because it is not only approval, then also requires funding. It has to get the fund for the project. Specific project has to be funded. So bureaucratic delay in approval process, that can be the part. Then again, what happens here? I have said lack of expertise. Attrition rate. Sometimes what happens? Attrition of scientists. What is attrition of scientists? The meritorious scientists may quit the job. They may leave the country. They may go outside. Brain drain. Right? Not getting enough of the opportunity and not getting support from the government. The meritorious scientists may quit the job and may go to outside the country. It has happened in the past with several such scientific organizations. So attrition of the scientists, that can also be the factor which can, and imagine that, a particular project which was led by a scientist and he was working for 10 years, 15 years on the project. And let's say that scientist leaves the job. Then another person has to take that team leadership and he or she has to again familiarize with the project and then lead forward. So that also delay the project, right? That also delay the project there, right? So lack of autonomy, bureaucratic delay in approval process, attrition of scientists, not having enough funding. You can write many such points there in the organizational part of it. So what you have to write there, you have to suggest way forward. How we can go ahead with that. First is what? At the global level, if you want to say there, what is the global level? IPR restriction, intellectual property rights. So what government can do? When government is negotiating a deal with the foreign partners, government must specify that we will buy your technology, but we will also indigenize it, right? So here, indigenization clause in TOT agreement. And the government has to take a firm stand that the government will do the indigenization, then only we will go for buying such product, right? That negotiation has to be there. Second, what can be there? That we can have this one, that proper policy framework. We need a proper policy framework and guideline for indigenization technologies there, right? Then again, what can be there? We can use this bureaucratic delay, red tapeism, right? It is also called red tapeism. This kind of a delay in the approval process. Now, what can be the providing autonomy? Providing decision-making power on deciding the project, and then approval, government should approve fast, making powers with funding on projects there. Those projects which are of national importance, that need to be fast. There has to be fast approval. There has to be fast funding of such projects there, right? At the same time here, meritorious side, then a training part, training and skill development. We have to build the technological domain expertise. Then we have to require training and skill development from time to time, right? Then private players, increasing participation of private players, right? So here, increasing private companies' participation in R&D, then also in FDI, foreign direct investment, and foreign direct investment in technological domain. I can give you many points. I'm just giving you certain small points, but you can write more points. I'm very confident that you can write more than that points. I've just given you idea in that case, right? So way forward can be indigenization clause in the TOT agreement, which government has to negotiate, proper policy framework for indigenization at organizational level, at the national level, provided decision-making powers with funding on the projects to the organization, training and skill development of scientists to get more skilled in terms of developing new technology, cutting edge technology, increasing private companies' participation in R&D, increasing FDI. You can all suggest that, right? You all can suggest that part of that, right? Time-bound promotion and everything you can talk about. The fast approval process, everything you can do that, right? So this is how you have to, bring about the points. Everything will not be in the study material or the, textbooks and all. It's your understanding. Once you understand, based on your understanding of a particular area, right? See, what is UPSC exam? UPSC mains exam is like cooking food, right? You have to become a cook. This is what UPSC mains exam is all about. Writing mains answer is just like cooking a food. You have all recipe. Right? When you make a biryani, right? Chicken biryani or mutton biryani or veg biryani, right? So when you make a biryani, you know what are recipes there, right? You have to know the recipe there. This is what UPSC exam is all about. What are recipes here? All information. It has to be here, right? You have read economy, you have read social aspect, you have read historical history, you have read polity, you know governance, right? And how you are going to bring the information from such subject and interconnect together to write one good answer, a very good answer, which will fetch you marks, right? Rectification will not help, right? Memorization will not, there you have taken a model answer and rectification and the writing. Imagine UPSC exam, right? An examiner, first copy, same answer. Second copy, same answer. Third copy, same answer. So what the examiner will take the notion? Since you have not cheated, because in UPSC exam, cheating is very dangerous, right? So it's obvious to the examiner that all those students who are writing the same answer have gone through the same model answer, right? And they have copied it. That means lack of originality. What does that mean? Lack of originality. Your original ideas, your original thought process in terms of your presentation of the answer is not there. You'll get less marks. UPSC will award you less marks. UPSC wants those type of civil servants, they have to be recruited, who are open-minded, who have the, every aspect which makes a future civil servant of the country, an IAS officer or IPS officer or IRS or whatever the services are there. They don't want ratified people, bookish people, right? So that's what I am telling you again and again. Whatever subject you are reading, including science and technology, you need to have proper understanding of everything. You have all the information. And depending on demand of the question, you are able to generate points, your creativity, your originality, and you are able to write the answer. Right? I hope this will follow there. So that's what I wanted to make you understand here. Any question, any doubt, anything you want to ask? So in design and technology I have given, you can write your own points there, right? I have just given you a framework. All right. Any doubt you have? Any question regarding indigenization? And you have to always build upon the examples. And if you can bring examples from current aspect, it will really be very good in terms of getting good marks in the examination, right? Any doubt? No doubt? इनको एक बार दिखा दीजिए सारा बोर्ड. I have not removed from the whiteboard. So those who are still writing there, they can write there. I am giving you time to write it down. And again remember that. Whatever I have written on the whiteboard, this is also your class notes. So you should not tell me later on or to the that we didn't have class notes. Right? One idea is that the teacher will come and sit down on the chair and will say, write, dictation after dictation. Right? Another way is that while teaching, using the whiteboard, right, and whatever the points you have, you are writing it simultaneously as your class notes. I follow this kind of approach and supplement through handout. I will use the handout there, right? So there are certain questions are there. Let me explain here. IPR restriction clause in the TOT agreement, right? IPR restriction clause in the TOT agreement. Devyansh Khatri is asking me question about this IPR clause, that restriction clause in the TOT. I'll make you understand. I'll just give you one good example, very good example, you understand that. India has a deal for Rafale, right? Dassault Rafale. Dassault Aviation is a French company, right? Which is in France, right? India and France together signed the agreement and the deal that we will buy the 36 Rafale, right? And you know that now we are getting delivered the Rafale there. Now when India has signed this deal with the Dassault Aviation, right, the company, and you know that it is involved with what? Ambani, right? Ambani Group is there, which is involved with this particular deal there, a private company. So now let's understand. In the deal, in the agreement, there will be a point, a clause given that any of the component and the part of that Rafale cannot be copied because they are protected under patent number so and so, design right so and so, right? So that is very clearly mentioned in the agreement that this is the patent number of the engine or the whatever the component there, invention part. This is a design right number of all the design everything, and they have a specified tenure duration. That patent right exists for 20 years or design right exists for 10 years, right? It is clearly specified in the agreement. So when India is having that deal, right, because of that IPR clause and IPR restriction in the agreement contract, so we can simply purchase that equipment, purchase that fighter craft, purchase the weapon or whatever we are buying from outside and use it, right, without going for any copy or without going for any modification or something on that, because of that IPR protection, intellectual property rights protection. I'll give you a second example. In India, we are building under a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. There's a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, signed by Mazgaon Dock Limited, Mazgaon, MAZHGAON, Mazgaon Dock Limited, Mumbai, which is a government company, right? And there's another France company called Naval Group, NAVAL, Naval Group, which was earlier called as DCNS. So there's a MOU between Naval Group of France and MDL, Mazgaon Dock Limited of India, in terms of building six Scorpion class submarines, fast attack, diesel powered Scorpion class submarines, 6 of them. INS Kalvari, INS Khanderi, INS Karanj, INS Vega, INS Vagir, INS Bakshir. 6 of them under Make in India program. What does that mean? In that memorandum of understanding was that we will, instead of buying a finished submarine from France and transferring to India, the company, the DCNS or the Naval Group will assist MDL, Mazgaon Dock Limited, in terms of building the same submarine in the country under Make in India program. But again, the IPR comes. What is IPR? That we can, those company will help in building the submarine in the country, which will boost the Make in India program, but then again cannot be copied under the IPR clause. Right? This is what the restriction means. So when there is restriction, what will happen there? Unless until that patent expire, that IPR rights expire, because the ownership or the rights are enjoyed by the patent holder or design right holder for certain specified time period. So till then India cannot make changes. But once that duration is over, the timeline is over, India can copy it, India can make it all this one and then bring it to the market. Because by that time it has expired. But then what will happen? Whatever money we will invest in R&D in terms of developing there, and after 10 years or 20 years, by that time the foreign country, the France, the company there will advance more technology, more better technology. So the technology what we are using right now has become outdated. Right? That is where the concern comes into that. Mr. Devyans Khatri, are you clear about it? Any doubt? Indigenization also means own technology. Remember that. What is it? Indigenization means two aspects. What is first context? The first context is that development of new technologies with the help of R&D at the national level. Our own technology. Here, it means here, our own technology, right? That is the first context. Here, the first context which comes in terms of indigenization is the development of new technology by our own scientists, right, in situ, inside the country. What is second context? Second context is that where we have the modification of existing technologies which we obtain through TOT agreement. Right? So there are two aspects of indigenization. One is that the new technology which we develop in the country, our own. And second, we develop a new technology in the country by modifying the existing technology which we have got from outside through deal. So there are two meanings, there are two contexts. What is the first context? The first context is this one. This is context number one. And second context is this one. This is context number two. Right? There are two contexts you have to understand. One is that our own scientists work day and night. They do the R&D and develop our own local technology. That is called context number one, indigenous technology. And what is second context? That we obtain the technology from outside with the help of TOT and then we do the modification. But again remember that whatever the contexts are there, both the contexts, context number one, context number two, what is very important? This one. It must serve the national needs. The national aspiration, national needs, socio-economic development, national security, economic aspect, all have to be met, whether agriculture, industry, power, transport, whatever sectors are there. It has to be as per India's need. Right? That's why the scientists work on the lab, in the lab to develop that. Right? Cryogenic engine is in GSLV, I have already mentioned that. The third stage, the third upper stage of GSLV, Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, use the cryogenic engine. And cryogenic engine is a modified cryogenic engine of Russia. From Russia we got semi-cryogenic engine. From Russia we got the semi-cryogenic engine. And then we did R&D, develop our own indigenous cryogenic engine, which we are using in the last third upper stage of GSLV. First stage is solid, second is liquid, third is the cryogenic. Right? So that's what I have written here. Agni 5 project. Agni, Prithvi, all these missiles, Nag, anti-tank missile. is all are because of indigenization. Most of the technologies what have been worked out in India are because of the transfer of technology. And then we did the indigenization, whichever area you talk about, right? Clear? All have written this one because I'm going to clear the whiteboard. एक बार पूरा इनको whiteboard दिखा दीजिए. Any more doubt or shall we move to the next topic? All have written it? Yes or no? All have copied this one? All the points while I am writing, please do write that. We will discuss cryogenic engine, don't worry. Cryogenic engine technology, liquefied hydrogen, liquefied oxygen, we will all discuss that. Don't worry right now. Please don't worry right now what is PSLV, what is GSLV, what is Agni, what is Arihant, what is Tejas. We will learn about that. You will be learning about that. Don't worry about that. Technological part of each of the topic which I have given as an example, whether PSLV or GSLV and all, we will be learning about those technologies in the area where I'll come to that. Here I am just given the examples in the context of indigenization of technologies. Cryogenic engine, cryo means extremely low temperature. It uses liquefied hydrogen at 20 Kelvin, right? 0 Kelvin is minus 273 degrees Celsius. And liquefied oxygen at 90 Kelvin. We will discuss that. What is cryogenic engine? How we use in GSLV? We will discuss that in the space science and technology. Don't worry about it. Right? All right. So if you have copied everything, then I am going to clean the whiteboard. And now we will be going to certain government programs there. Done. I am going to erase the whiteboard, right? All right. Projector on कर दीजिए इनको. Now what I would do here in the classroom is that Department of Science and Technology, at the same time, even there are other organizations like Niti Aayog. They have all come out with different types of programs to support science and technology in India, and we will look into certain important programs and their objectives. Now it is also very, very important. You will find in the prelims exam, let me write here, in the prelims exam, you get questions on social schemes, right? Economic programs, scientific program also there. There will be at least one question which will be on the schemes and programs, right? Like for example, UPSC had asked a question, AIM, Atal Innovation Mission. A very simple question. Is under which Niti Aayog, right? Then there was a question about NIF, National Innovation Foundation India, in terms of innovation in India, right? Smart Hackathon, right? So you'll find every year in the prelims exam, there's one question on either government schemes like in terms of women, child, or economic policies or programs, right? At the same time, sometimes there are also schemes related to science and technology, which is also directly asked in the question paper. So you have to go through such kind of important programs and all that. So that's what it is very important that you have to be aware of that, right? Now let me come to here. Science and technology programs here. ये मार्कर चाहिए, मार्कर बहुत हल्का है, डार्क मार्कर आप दे दीजिए. So science tech programs here. So now let's look at here. The first one, there's a program called Inspire. I will take you to a respective website. Just wait for some time. Inspire is a program of DST, Department of Science and Technology. It's a DST program, and it is for scholarship, right? So it provides scholarship for higher education. So first component of this program is that for higher education in the field of science, right? Department of Science and Technology provides scholarship to meritorious students, right? They get the scholarship under the program of Inspire. Inspire scholars are there. 80,000 rupees they get the scholarship there. And they're also supported through the master's program, PhD program, right? Second part is that there's a internship of that. They get trained. Those students are provided the internship in science project in summer weekend or something of that, right? And third, they get internship and mentoring part. And at the same time, they have a career opportunity also, assured career opportunity. See what happens there? In absence of having not good career opportunities, right? Many of the science students, they drop out. They don't continue after BSc or MSc. You all know that. In India, we have a craze of becoming engineers, right, or doctors. Parents want their children to become engineers and doctors, right? Very few parents will come across who would like to make the children scientists, to go for BSc, MSc and all. And in India, we have that kind of mindset that if any student go for BSc Science or BSc there, is treated as a low grade student. अरे BSc पढ़ रहा है ना, botany पढ़ रहा है, science पढ़ रहा है, मतलब इसको IIT नहीं मिला, है ना? That is the kind of mentality what India has got. So what happens that even after doing BSc honors in a particular subject, or let's say MSc, and that there's not ample opportunity, the job market is not there, right? Career opportunity is not there. What happens with such students? They will come for civil service exam. Right? In your batch itself, there are many students who may be from science background and now preparing for UPSC exam. Or they go for MBA, management programs, or some other programs. So how do we retain the talents? Now question is that, how do we retain the talent? That they should dedicate for science education and become scientists of the country and work for ISRO or DRDO or BARC or any other scientific organization, right? For that, there has to be some assured career opportunity. So under the Inspire scheme, government provides this assured career opportunity. Now what is this career opportunity? During their masters, right, or PhD, they get teaching assignment. Like you have seen in the colleges. In the colleges and university, their teaching assistant, TAs are there, which assist the professor in the teaching program, and they get paid for it, right? At the same time, after doing the PhD, they can try for post of scientist, and the DST will support such kind of a recruitment, such kind of job there, right? Then what comes here, the next program is another very important program called Imprint. What is the program here? Imprint, Impacting Research and Innovation. Now this is the joint program of Department of Science and Technology and Ministry of HRD, Human Resource Development. Imprint is a joint program between Department of Science and Technology under Ministry of Science and Technology and Ministry of Human Resource Development, HRD Ministry. Now this is here, IITs are involved. Here what you'll find, it is IITs, the old IITs, IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, right, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, these all the earlier IITs, and ISC Bangalore, right? In ISC, Indian Institute of Science Bangalore, they are as a part of the program there, right, participation. And they will through research, right, through R&D develop in some domain areas, let's say biomedical device, energy, right, prosthetic devices, in terms of power devices there, or agriculture technology or health technology. They have been given some areas, and based on that they will bring about novel new product, right? So here R&D to develop innovative product. Here for that this government funding is there, right? Then what comes here, you know about this one, AIM, right? Atal Innovation Mission, AIM program, Atal Innovation Mission, AIM, right? Now, AIM is the program under Niti Aayog. It is a program under Niti Aayog, AIM program. Now, what are the component of AIM here? First is that to support innovation, right? So here, support to startups. Already existing startups or new startups, right? That is done through Atal Innovation Mission, AIM. Second here is that Atal Tinkering Lab. There is another very important aspect called Atal Tinkering Lab, ATL. Government is giving fund to set up ATLs, Atal Tinkering Labs at the school level, where the children are exposed to high-tech level of product there, right? That is happens at the school level, where school children, through the Atal lab, this will get exposed to 3D printer, 3D printing, electron microscope, NMR, hyperloop, such advanced technology. And you know the young minds, they will be motivated by looking into such kind of advanced technology which can inspire them, which can motivate them to go for scientific career. Right? So Atal Tinkering Lab at the school level, that is done there, right? Now third we will find here, there's a mentorship program, Mentor India. They'll dedicate mentors will be there, which will mentor such kind of students, right? So there is a Mentor India program has been there as a part of the AIM here. Then what comes here, another very important program which I would like to bring here in this context is called Manak. Million Minds Augmenting for National Aspiration and Knowledge. What does Manak stands for? Million Minds Augmenting for National Knowledge and National Aspiration and Knowledge. Manak program. Now this is the Department of Science and Technology program. It was earlier also called Inspire Award. What was earlier called? Inspire Award, which is now called Manak. Million Minds Augmenting for National Aspiration and Knowledge. Right, which in short is called Manak. Now what is Manak here? Manak is at the school level. That is here, innovation, right, to support innovation at school level. Now what happens in this particular program of Manak, school children of class 6 to 10th standard, right, which are of age of 10 to 15 years, right, 10th to 15 years old children at the school level, right, class 6 to 10th standard, they participate in the Manak program. So they have to present ideas, they have to give ideas. And Department of Science and Technology has a body called NIF, National Innovation Foundation India, that will select the best ideas across the country. And those best ideas will be converted into prototypes. They will be made into prototypes. And they will be displayed in exhibition. Now imagine that, such brilliant idea which become a prototype product and then exhibited to public. So such kind of a Manak student who has given the idea will feel more motivated, right, inspired from there. So here the innovation at school level. So what happened here? The best ideas. So NIF, National Innovation Foundation India, which is an autonomous body under DST, selects best ideas all over the country and developed into prototypes which are exhibited to public, and they get award for that. That's what this program is there. And at this level, which year old? 10 years to 15 years old children participate in this program there. 10 to 15 years old children from school level, 6 to 10 standard, they participate in the program there, right? Now what comes the next program is a very, very important program there that is called Nidhi. Right? Nidhi. Nidhi is a Hindi word which means fund. Kosh, Nidhi, these are Hindi terms which mean fund, right? Funding. But Nidhi is a national initiative to support the entrepreneurship there, right? It is again the program for DST. Now what is that here? There is a support to entrepreneurs, right? Which they are not able to get enough of the funding there, entrepreneurship, right? In residence, there is something called EIR. Wherever the entrepreneur is there and whatever their products are there, they will get supported through Nidhi. Department of Science and Technology provide the fund. See, AIM, Atal Innovation Mission also supports startups, but that is by Niti Aayog. Whereas in the DST, support through Nidhi program, the entrepreneurship. Wherever the entrepreneurs are there and the startups at the local level, whether it is a village, a small village, or in the urban areas, they may get support through the funding by DST, right? So it has this one. Then it also helps in building supply chain management. It provides helps in the supply chain management. That means market of the product. The supply chain management of products going to market. See, sometimes the local entrepreneurs, they may not have enough of resources. They may not have enough of money or finance. They may start a local business, but may not have sufficient resources to take it to the market. So again, through Nidhi program, it may get supported through that one. So going to market there, right? So there's again the part of the support to startups there, right? It provides the support to that. But this is a Department of Science and Technology program, right? Now what I'm coming here, another very important program called Kiran. Now Kiran is also DST program, Department of Science and Technology program. That is in terms of women scientists. Kiran is a program for women scientists there, right? Now it is actually here is a women scientist program. See, what happens is sometimes because of the family reason, personal family reasons, women scientists have to quit the job. She has to leave the job in order to fulfill the family responsibilities, the dual role as a scientist and a mother, right? And now when she quits the job, imagine a scientist working with ISRO, and she, because of taking care of her family, she has to quit the job, right? Resign from the job. So we have lost one very meritorious scientist. And second thing is the gender in the science, gender balance, men and women scientists, right? The ratio, that also affects. So what government has thought, Department of Science and Technology has brought a program called Kiran. That is for women scientist program to allow those scientists, women scientists, who have left the job, who have quit the job on personal ground, not for any other ground, on their personal ground, can return back, can again come back to the scientific career. They can rejoin to the scientific program. It's a very, very important program for gender aspect, Kiran program there. So here, what is the part of it here? Here, what you have here is that in this one is that, second point is that rejoining, it has a rejoining of women scientists after a career break due to personal reason. Because of the personal reasons, she was not able to continue with the job, and then after a gap, she want to come back, she can again rejoin in the scientific career there. Rejoining of women scientists after a career break due to personal reasons, right? Now what comes the third one? Promotion. It also helps in promotion of women scientists to higher posts. See, sometimes the women scientists working with the scientific organization may not be favored to lead the team. right? If you know Mangalyaan mission, MOM, Mars Orbiter Mission, and you have seen the Akshay Kumar, Vidya Balan movie starrer Mission Mangal. The Mangalyaan mission was led by women, right? There were many women scientists of ISRO who contributed to the Mangalyaan. What you have seen in the Bollywood movie is inspired from true events, right? So, women scientists there, sometimes they may not be given the chance or opportunity to lead the team. So that can be done through Kiran program, right? Sometimes what happens, a married woman scientist, she has to move with her family to another location. Let's say, for example, the husband is in a transferable job, right? Husband is in a government job, a transferable job, and the husband was earlier in Bangalore but now shifted to Raipur in Chhattisgarh. So in Bangalore, the wife, the women scientist, was working with ISRO center. But with the moment it came to Raipur, there is no opportunity. She has to move with the family. If she has to move with the family, there is no opportunity. So when she is going to new location, how she can be still engaged in scientific research by getting some kind of a job in neighboring area, not in Raipur but in some other new area where she can go there, or may get some kind of teaching assignment or some kind of academic role in the universities there. That can be done through Kiran. So what is another point here? That is the transfer here. Support to scientific research. So it has got three components, A, B and C. So I am giving you this part. So what is the support to scientific research in new location after transfer there, new locations. First is rejoining of the women scientists after a break due to family reason or something. Promotion of women scientists, getting the higher job, higher post leadership quality, part of the scientist. And third is the support to scientific research, right, in new locations. That is done through Kiran. There are other programs also. I am giving you some important programs, but there are other programs recently by Department of Science and Technology and even by other departments and ministries, whether Ministry of Agriculture or Ministry of Health and Family Welfare or Ministry of Electronics and a part like the Digital India program, right? So Digital India program is a Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. There are several missions are there, several programs are there. We will go into such programs in respective topics, right? Here I have given a general overview of such programs which are generally mixed headlines. But then as we go to respective topics, we will learn about scientific programs of that particular area of science and technology. All right? Clear? So now I will give you a classroom assignment. Kaun banega crorepati, KBC. So the classroom assignment is this one. A very simple question, and I think you will be able to write that. The question is this one. Although there are many women getting educated in STEM, STEMM. What does STEMM stands for? Science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine. What is the question here? Although there are many women getting educated in STEM, STEMM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine, but there are few numbers of women scientists. There are few numbers of women scientists in India. Comment. What is my question here? This is a classroom exercise. Classroom assignment, I'll repeat the question again. Although there are many women getting educated in science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine, STEMM, comma, but there are few numbers of women scientists in India. Comment. Right? Just like yesterday, just like the first class, you have to only give me the how you are going to write the answer, the points. I don't want paragraph. I don't need paragraph. Paragraph you can always write, right? If you have important points, you can always fill those important points with sentences and paragraph. I want points. How you are going to present your answer, introduction, body and conclusion, and what have to be the points there. I want that as a part of response. So I'm giving you 15 minutes time. You have 15 minutes time. I will not erase the board. The board will remain as it is. Right? The board will remain as it is. And you have 15 minutes time. Please go through this question of the classroom, right, which I'm giving you every class there. Just give me the points of that. Although there are many women scientists, although many women getting educated in STEM, but there are few numbers of women scientists in India. You have to comment on this statement. So I'm providing a break here, 15 minutes break. Camera will be here displaying the question and the flow chart here, right? And 15 minutes, now is 11:45. So at 12 o'clock we'll start the class, and at 12 o'clock I'll go through your responses. Okay, what points you have thought of. We will discuss that response, and then we'll start space, science and technology. We are going to start space, science and technology. Now we are going to the main areas of science and technology. We'll now go to the in-depth main areas of science and technology. We'll start with the space technology first, right? So just think of that and try to answer it. I'm taking a small break and we'll come back. Okay, guys, I have gone through your response. Few of the response are really very good. I congratulate again all of you who have tried giving the answer. Pratik Dongre. Pratik Dongre has given data also there, right? And Prachi Tiwari, she has also given me the format of the answer and the model answer. Ashutosh Lal is also there. He has also given the data also there. Global 30% and in India has got only 14 to 15%. Good thing about Ashutosh is that Ashutosh Lal has also given the names of the government program, which is other than what I have given on the whiteboard. Like one is Gati, Gati. Recently, the government has come out with Gati. Gati is gender advancement for transforming institutions. Those, like say, institutions, schools level, college level, where the girls are educated, to transform them and make the scientific temperament. This Gati program is there. Kiran program, I have already mentioned about that. Many other people I can see on the response there. On the response, there are many other students have given me the reply to the question here that less low career opportunities, less awareness of mindset of society towards science is less support of the family, patriarchy, gender constraint, right? All this I have given there. Like Lanka Durga Srani, she has given me the answer there. And then you have Devyansh has given the answer. Meenakshi, I am just naming the students who have given me the answer. Meenakshi has given the answer. Then I am seeing the name of Kapil. Kapil has given the answer here. Then apart from Kapil, Sanatan is also there. He has also mentioned about the percentage of STEM. Like recently, Vice President of India, right? He has raised the concern about the gender aspect. So many of you have given that context of the current affairs where Vice President of India has said that 40% of the women who are getting educated in STEM, STEMM, but only 14 to 15% are employed. So that part is again I can find in many of your responses there. Muhammad Abdul, he has given the answer there, right? Then I can see the response of Sneha Prajapat, she has also given that only 15% women contribute to the scientific career. Then Neha has given the answer here. So many of you have replied there. That's really good that. See, my purpose of giving you this kind of class assignment is that you are able to think on that. You are able to think on this line and provide there. So it's good that I'm receiving the answer here. A few more responses have come to me. Hemant Srinivas, right? He has also given me that part of patrilocal nature of Indian society, inferior status in institutions. That's again the glass ceiling and all this. Then Ashutosh Lal has also given that part of it. So good there. What I can see that most of you who are active in the classroom. I have said in the beginning of the class that you have to become active learner. So I really admire, I really appreciate your participation. A live class becomes more useful when students interact with the student, right? Students interact with the teachers and there is a continuous dialogue. So that's a good thing there. That you are able to respond to my question in the classroom, that's really good there. So that is where the engagement is all about, right? So good, very good. Okay, the model answer. I'll not give you in the same way the model answer yesterday I did, but I'll just orally I'll tell you the model answer. In the introduction, you just give certain facts, right? In the introduction, bring about facts. What are the facts there? You have to bring in the facts that global level, what is the percentage? Around 30%, right? At the national level, 40% of women getting educated, and if you look at the number of women into the science and those kind of career, STEM, STEMM, just the 14 to 15%. Cite some kind of report, right? Give some report. But again, I said your introduction should not be lengthy. Maximum it must go 3 sentences. Now the body of the answer, you have to touch upon here. The question is that why there are less number of women scientists in India. Now you have to give the reasons behind it. What are the factors responsible for lower number of women scientists in India, right? So you can start from societal level, that patriarchal nature of the society, right? Women education, right? Again, let's say women getting education, right? The mindset is that hard jobs are for men and soft skill jobs are for women. Right, this is a mindset. What is the mindset? That women are more better to teaching part, become a teacher, a school teacher, nursing, become a nurse in the hospital, or front desk receptionist. All those kind of notion is there, mindset is there. And we see that hard jobs, like difficult, more challenging men can do, which is really wrong. Right? Today, women are doing those kind of tasks. They are taking those kind of challenges, which are as equal to man and even more than men. I have no hesitation to tell that. Flying fighter craft, right? Flying fighter craft to, going to the Mount Everest, to every aspect, women have done that, right? Mangalyaan mission, Chandrayaan second mission, right? So we have the participation of women. Tessie Thomas, you can give example there. Tessie Thomas, she is called to be Missile Woman of India, right? Abdul Kalam, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, right? He is called Missile Man of India because of the Agni, Prithvi, Nag, Trishul, Akash, IGMP program, Integrated Guided Missile Program. But in terms of women scientist, Tessie Thomas, right, on the Agni project, she is said to be Missile Woman of India. Mangalyaan mission, Vanita, there's another, this name scientist, Vanita, right? There are other many scientists. If you do the Google search, you'll find the names of the scientists who were the part of the Mangalyaan mission, Mars orbiter mission, MOM mission, even Chandrayaan mission also there, right? So you have to provide certain examples. Absence of role model. You can give the point that there's not much role model in the society in terms of women scientists. Only few. Right? Even the Nobel laureate, if you take Nobel laureate, C.V. Raman, Dr. C.V. Raman, then Dr. Subramaniam Chandrasekhar, all these are Nobel laureate, all are men. We don't find Indian women scientists being a Nobel laureate. So role model, absence of role model, which can inspire a lot of women, even the young girls, to take up the scientific education and pursue as a career, right? So again, that part of the stimulus part is very, very important. Let's say a woman who become a scientist, right? She has another challenging problem after marriage. Young kids, right? Small infant, right? So rearing up a family. And you know that scientific career is a very demanding career. Right? There are sometimes 24/7 continuous work hours. Let's say ISRO project on launching of important spacecraft, important satellite. The team has to work day and night. Now imagine a young married woman scientist who has to balance the family commitment and the job commitment. It's very difficult, right? But she does. I'm saying, but she does, right? Those women, they do that, right? Child, small child, infant, and let's say Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, and all this, that now nuclear family. So who will take care of the young ones? If both husband and wife are working, then taking care of the young child or children, right? So these are again societal part in terms of family responsibility, everything. Now in the job, in the organization, glass ceiling effect. What is called? Glass ceiling effect. That there is a general psychology that men can better in doing the task. Men can lead the team, project team, can be a project leader. Women cannot. Women is given the subordinate jobs. So that glass ceiling effect doesn't allow such women scientists, even in scientific organization, to take up more leadership tasks and move ahead. So there is sort of biasness. What is what? There's sort of biasness towards such women scientists, right? So that has to be again overcome, right? You all have written that. I can see that all the answers. Government schemes providing. Then you have given the way forward also. You have given the way forward also. I can see the many answers, but I can find that private sector, job thinking, maternity leave, and all those things are there. So many of the work way forward we have given. What we can do in scientific organization, we can provide support system to the family or for such women scientists. Increase the number of women scientists through recruitment. by providing them more opportunity for jobs, at the same time giving them advancement in the career, right? Provide the maternity benefit and all those kind of things there. There should be crèche for the children, kids zone or play school for children, which can be in vicinity, right? All those kind of factors can be taken into account, right? So you can mention the scheme also, Gati or Kiran, whatever the government schemes are there, you can mention about that. I'm very happy that many of you are responding to my question in the classroom and you are providing me the answer. That's really good. So now what I'll do here, I will be now going to the topic of space science and technology, right? And for that, what I'll do in the classroom is that, first let me take you to the handout, right? We'll first go to the handout there. Let's discuss first handout. What I've given in the handout, then I'll come on the whiteboard, right? All of you have got the handout, it will come to your screen. You can refer to the screen. It will come to your screen here, and we'll just go through, just to have the main aspect of the handout here, right? See, in the handout, if you look at here, I have given here space exploration, right? This is the heading of the chapter, and see what is given here. Today, man-made satellites, right? We use artificial satellites, man-made satellites for communication, remote sensing, navigation, for all applications, disaster management, meteorology, weather forecast, right? Various aspects the satellites are used. So satellite communication has become a very integral part of human civilization, right? Human development there. TV, like let's say direct to home, TTH, direct to home, Tata Sky, right? All those kind of mode of direct to home have come in the market there. We are using in our homes, right? So it has become an indispensable part of human existence. Now coming to here, space, like here, you have a definition here. What is definition here? First is that what do you mean by the term space, right? Space means the vast, limitless, continuous expanse or region beyond the Earth's atmosphere. How the space has been defined? Space refers to the vast, limitless, where there is no limit, limitless and continuous expanse beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Now if you see that, sometimes we call it outer space. Sometimes what we call it? We call it outer space in order to distinguish it from space occupied by atmosphere. There is a space also in the atmosphere and there is a space outside the atmosphere, right? Now in this chapter, it gives you the entire understanding of the concept. If you go to the next page here, it talks about satellite orbits, kinds of satellites and satellite orbits, right? Now first, satellites, when you talk about, there are natural satellites and there are also artificial satellites. Natural satellites you have studied in the subject of geography, like moon, as Earth's moon is a natural satellite of Earth. Jupiter has got 60 such kind of moons. Saturn, planet, has also got moons. Mars has got 2, Deimos and Phobos. These are all natural celestial bodies, heavenly bodies. They are the moons of natural moons of the respective planets, right? So here, like the moon, like natural body also revolves around the Earth. The moon revolves around the Earth, right? So it is a satellite. So moon is also like a natural satellite to the Earth, right? Planet Jupiter has got many such satellites revolving that. They are called natural satellites, right? At the same time, the technology which we have, human has developed to launch satellite revolving around the Earth or any other planet for own purpose, scientific data collection. So what humans have done, we have developed spacecraft which can go to other planets, let's say Mars, red planet, right? And can find out, study the Mars planet, red planet, or to Jupiter or Saturn or Uranus or Pluto, whichever we talk about, right? It can study dwarf planet like Pluto or asteroid, meteorite, comets. So we have been able to develop that, right? So now if you see here, the man-made satellites like Sputnik 1, that gives you information. Sputnik 1, Explorer 1, GSAT 1 and GSAT 2 right? Our examples are artificial satellite. Now recently launched by India is wrong. It is an old document. It is a textbook. It is chapter from textbook of NIOS. The data is old. See, whenever you are reading any textbook or any chapter from textbook, you have to update the data. Right? GSAT is given this old one. But there you can take as examples of artificial satellites. Now what you find here, the path of a satellite. Now this is the important concept, orbit. Right? What is here? The path of a satellite which takes, that is called orbit. Right? Now the path of a satellite revolving around the earth is called an orbit. Right? Now what is very important thing given? This path or orbit can be circular or an elliptical in nature, lying in a plane passing through the center of the earth. Now if you see there, here the O is there. And there is a plane, if you can see here, this is a plane which passes through the center of the earth. If I just highlight that, right? This is the plane, which I'm just doing the painting here. This is the plane which passed through the center of the earth, right? This through the center of the earth. And that is where the planar aspect comes into that, right? What I've shaded with the color here. So what happens here is that it can be circular in nature or elliptical, passing through the center of the earth. And here, which you can see in the diagram O in the figure, it can be a param. Now, if it is elliptical, let's say, if it is elliptical, right? This is elliptical in nature. Is an elliptical orbit, right? So there will be two aspects. One will be perigee, second will be apogee. Now this is the farthest point. When a satellite will be there, so in this kind of orbit, it can be a near point or the farthest point, right? Now if you see here, this one, right? If you see here, this is the farthest point from the earth, this one, that is called apogee. The farthest point here. And this point where the satellite comes near to the earth, this point, that is called as a perigee. This is the nearest point. So when a satellite orbit is elliptical in nature, you have two conditions, perigee and apogee. Perigee is the nearest point and apogee is the farthest point. Similar to sun, perihelion, apohelion, right? In terms of sun and the planet goes around that. Now you'll find this is the equator. This one, what you see is the equator. There is equatorial plane there. Right? So across the equatorial plane here, what I'm painting in the red color here, this is the equator part, right? And across this equator here, this part, there's inclination is there, right? The orbit, this orbit through which satellite pass, there's an inclination part of it, which is by an angle there, right? So what is very important here? There are three parameters which define orbit of a satellite. What are those three parameters? First is apogee, right? Now this is a point where a vertical distance of the satellite, right? Vertical distance of the satellite from the Earth's surface is maximum, right? So that is called apogee. Second comes perigee, where the vertical distance of satellite from the Earth's surface is smallest. And third parameter comes inclination. What is inclination? The angle between the plane of the orbit of the satellite and the plane of the equator of the orbit of the Earth, right? That is called as the inclination. This is the inclination. This part is called, find the inclination. This is the inclination, right? Now what it says here, types of orbit, right? The types of orbits. So there it is given here the two types of orbits which it talks about. When the satellite goes from north to south, so what is called polar orbit. that is center of the earth, north pole and south pole, all lie in the plane of the polar orbit, right? So when you talk about the center of the earth, north pole and south pole, plane of the polar orbit, right, which is perpendicular to the plane of the equator, right? The satellite moves in a polar orbit or polar satellite. Whereas there is another type of satellite orbit where the orbit is in the plane of equator, right? Its inclination is 0 degree. Height of the orbit is about 36,000 kilometers above the equator and keeps this distance constant, right? It is a circular orbit. At this height, satellite makes a revolution, one revolution around the earth in just as much time as the earth itself takes to spin 360 degree around its axis, right? So what happens relative to any location on the earth, the position of the satellite is stationary. Now this type of orbit is called geostationary orbit, right? What is geostationary orbit? Geostationary orbit is an orbit in the plane of equator. It is a circular orbit lying at a height of about 36,000 kilometers above the equator. And here the satellite takes one revolution in 24 hours, right? 360 degree part of the, which is synchronized with the rotation of the earth, right? Such kind of orbit is used for classification purpose, right? So this is a geostationary orbit. Now the time period, how much time a satellite takes. Now this, if you see here, this is the polar orbit. North to south is the polar orbit. Whereas on the equatorial aspect, what you find is a geostationary orbit. Right? This is the polar orbit, north to south. They are also called as a sun synchronous. It is also referred to as a word called sun synchronous. Sun synchronous orbit. Sun synchronous means here the satellite which goes in the polar orbit is synchronized with sun's direction. That's what is called sun synchronous polar orbit, SSPO. Right? Here you have a geostationary orbit. So here it gives you the part of it. See what is given here. If you see here, consider satellite whose time period is integral part of the revolution here, 13, 14, 15. Now see, while Earth spins one rotation related to Sun in 24 hours, the satellite makes an accurately integral number of revolution, 14 revolution, 15 revolution. Satellite will be able to look at that place and photograph in a consecutive. Generally, you will find here polar orbit, they're used for remote sensing application. What is called Earth observation, remote sensing application, or observing the earth, the cameras on this, and it gets all the data on the surface of the land and water and even beneath the sea and ocean. Whereas geostationary orbit, which remains relatively fixed to a particular location from the earth, they are used for communication purpose. It is used for communication purpose there. Right? So here, what is given here? Satellite will be able to look at the place, photograph in a consecutive day with identical illumination, sun being the same position related to that place. Such an orbit is called sun synchronous. What is sun synchronous orbit? It is a polar orbit where the satellite looks at a particular place and photograph in a consecutive day in identical sunlight, looking at the position of the sun. That is where it happens in the polar orbit. This is a satellite moving in this orbit called sun synchronous orbit or satellite there. Right? So the time taken here, it keeps on changing with the time there. Right? Then you have here importance of space exploration, satellite communication. Right? So what I'll do here, before I come to this part, this orbit part which is given here, what I've discussed in the diagram here. Now let me come to the whiteboard there. Right? इसको मिटा दीजिए. I will be now discussing this concept of orbit and all on the whiteboard there. Right? Now, before the whiteboard gets cleaned up, let me here provide you one very important aspect there. If you take the atmosphere, right? Earth's atmosphere, and I am very sure you would have read in geography class. If you take the Earth's atmosphere, right? you'll find that Earth's atmosphere has different layers there, right? Let us see this photograph here. You have different layers of Earth here, right? And starting from troposphere, the lower atmosphere, right? This is the um, a rudimentary diagram to show you that. The lower atmosphere is the troposphere, then you have tropopause, then you have a stratosphere. Ozone layer is a part of stratosphere, then comes a mesosphere. Right, you have a mesosphere, and then above mesosphere is a thermosphere, and then you have a exosphere. Now there is a line called Kármán line. If you can see in this diagram, there is a Kármán line, right? Now Kármán line lies 100 kilometers above Earth's surface, which is considered to be the point of beginning of outer space. What is considered the point of beginning of the outer space? That's by convention we consider Kármán line, right? So here, if you see here, so there are different diagrams you'll come across about the Earth's atmosphere and all. Now where we have the space communication and all, we have space communication and everything. You'll find that this we have in the above 100 kilometer on the Earth's surface, right? So let us now go into the part of discussion on the whiteboard. Now whatever I'll write on the whiteboard, you can copy that. You can use as your class notes there, and one by one I will keep on making you understand the points here. Our first topic here is that what do we mean by the term outer space? Let us now discuss the concept of outer space, right? Now outer space, as I said there, if you take Earth's, and we go through the layers of the Earth's atmosphere, the first layer of the Earth's atmosphere is the troposphere. Troposphere extends to how many kilometers? 12 to 15 kilometers or maximum 18 kilometers, right? That's the lower part of the atmosphere. Now after that, up to 50 kilometers, we have the stratosphere. Ozone layer is a part of stratosphere, which is around 20 kilometers lower part of stratosphere. We have a ozone layer. Now here, let's say it goes up to 15 kilometers average. Stratosphere goes up to 50 kilometers. Now above stratosphere, we have a mesosphere. Right? We have mesosphere, which goes up to 80 to 90 kilometers. And above mesosphere, you have a thermosphere. Now ionosphere, the part of ionosphere is a part of this area there, and above that you have a exosphere. Right? Now what is said here is that from the Earth's surface, 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface, what I'm drawing with the blue line here, this is called as a Kármán line. Which is located 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Right? Now this Kármán line, 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface, above that, that is part, thermosphere is the part of ionosphere. Ionosphere and all comes with thermosphere there, and above that you have exosphere. So the part of atmosphere beyond 100 kilometers, beyond Kármán line, is said to be the beginning of outer space, right? Now this is where we talk about outer space. Right? Starting from here, whatever goes there, that is the outer space. Right? So now let us come to the point. What is outer space? So first point comes here. Outer space is a region, right, above 100 kilometers from Earth's surface, right? That is considered to be the outer space. Now, as per convention, right, this is as per convention of at international level, as per convention, Karman line, which I have drawn in the diagram there, Karman line, right, Karman line at 100 kilometers above the surface of the earth or above Earth's surface is considered as beginning of outer space. Right? As a beginning of outer space. Please write it down. All this you have to write it down. It's considered to be the beginning of outer space. Now, a country can claim sovereignty, right? A country can claim sovereignty over the land borders, sea and ocean, and the air also, above the land. Like India has a sovereignty over the air above. Where do you find the aeroplane or jet plane or fighter craft moving in the atmosphere? That is here in the stratosphere, lower part of stratosphere and troposphere. This is where you have the movement of the jet plane or fighter craft or aircraft. This is the area. So there the country can exercise sovereignty. But when you talk about 100 kilometers and above, exosphere and the part of ionosphere and all, no country can claim sovereignty over that space. It is open to the entire mankind. There is a concept in international law, what is called as a global common. What do you mean by the term global common? Global common means it belongs to everyone. What is global common? It belongs to everyone. No country can claim a part of the outer space, including the moon and other celestial bodies, as their own. Ownership cannot be there. So that is how the law at the global level, international law, defines the things there. And it is said to be, outer space said to be common heritage of mankind. So what is the very important point here? The outer space is considered as common heritage of mankind. It belongs to everyone. Whether it is an American citizen or Indian citizen or a Chinese citizen or any country citizen, it belongs to everyone. No country can by occupation can say that this is now there and nobody can interfere. That is not there. Now the question is that how it is defined, how we understand that it is a common heritage, what is called as a global common. Like for example, Antarctica. Antarctica can be used only for peaceful purpose. There is an Antarctic Treaty. There is a United Nations, UN. The UN treaty called Antarctic Treaty, which is only peaceful use of Antarctica. The southern landmass, right? South Pole and all these areas. Similar way, there is also treaty called Outer Space Treaty, which regulate the activities in the outer space. So what I'm now coming here, there is a very important part, what is called here, Outer Space Treaty. Now this Outer Space Treaty, in terms of affairs and activities which happens in the outer space, was brought by United Nations, 1967. It's a very landmark treaty in 1967, which define and regulate the affairs or activities in the outer space. Right? For that, you can consider Outer Space Treaty 1967 as an international law which govern the activities. Right? So, what is the main point here? What is Outer Space Treaty? It is a United Nation, right? It is a United Nation UN treaty governing activities carried out by states. Now, what is the meaning of states here? States here means nations. Nations are called to be states, right? The United Nations Treaty governing activities carried out by states in the outer space, including Earth's moon. It also includes moon, right? And other celestial bodies. It governs that. And under this convention or treaty, there is a very important body which has been formed which regulate all matters. That is called UNUSA. What is the name of the body? UNUSA. What does UNUSA stands for? It stands for United Nations Office on Outer Space Affairs. Right? So UNUSA is a international body. You can say it's a regulatory body which has been formed under the Outer Space Treaty 1967 to regulate all matters connected thereto with the activities and affairs of outer space. Right? So, this becomes a very, very important convention. Right? This becomes a very important convention, and any country, let's say India or USA or Russia or European countries, all the activities are continuously monitored, controlled and regulated by UNUSA under this treaty. Right? Now what comes here is that what are the provisions there? What are the provisions under this act, under this treaty? Right? If you look at the salient highlights there, provisions, if you go to the provisions of this treaty, Outer Space Treaty here has the provisions. Let me bring about the provisions here. Its important provisions are right. What are the important provisions? I am just putting across there. The first provision which comes here is that there has to be peaceful use of outer space. Peaceful use of outer space, including the moon and celestial bodies. It should not be for military purpose there, right? This treaty talks about there has to be a peaceful use of the outer space, right? Second important provision of this convention is that no country, no state, no country can claim sovereignty in outer space. Claim of sovereignty in the outer space is banned. Now, further it says that, third point it says that no country shall place weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction. What are weapons of mass destruction? WMD. Nuclear weapons, right? WMD include here. nuclear weapons, right? Biological weapons, chemical weapons, they cannot be placed by any country in the outer space, right? Then it says that countries liable shall be liable for any damage when any damage, right, caused in outer space. There is a liability also given there, right? Again says that the country shall not, no country shall contaminate outer space, including moon and other celestial bodies. Now this treaty also talks about that the astronauts who go to the outer space, they are considered as the envoys of mankind. So here, what is the next one? Next one says here, astronauts. Whether that astronaut is an American astronaut or a Russian astronaut or a Chinese or Indian, whichever may be that. Indian astronaut, maybe in future, we are planning for Gaganyaan mission. So Vyomnaut, we are calling it Vyomnaut. So any astronauts shall be envoys of mankind, ambassador, and should work for the welfare of the entire mankind, even though that person is a citizen of a particular country, right? Envoys of mankind, when he or she as an astronaut is working in the outer space. So this convention is an old convention, right? This convention is an old convention which was brought in 1967, but now things have changed, right? Now circumstances have changed. The first man-made satellite was Sputnik. Sputnik 1 was the first man-made satellite built by Soviet Union, and it was launched in 1957. And this treaty came into where? 1967. 10 years after that first satellite was made by man and put in the orbit, that 10 years after that, this particular convention and treaty was brought by the United Nations General Assembly, UN General Assembly, right? UK, Soviet Union, USA, those that time, they became the part of it. Now, sometimes when question comes in the exam, you may be asked something linked with Indian aspect of that. India is also a signatory, right? India is also a signatory to this treaty. So, what is very important here? India is also a member party to this particular convention, this particular treaty. And we are also bound by this particular obligation and the provisions. What are the provisions? Peaceful use of outer space, no sovereignty over the outer space, no placement of weapons of mass destruction, liability for the damage caused to the outer space, not to contaminate the outer space, and astronaut as an envoy or brand ambassador of mankind, right? Now, since I have said, if you take 1957, then 67, this treaty has come, and now we are in the 2021. We are in 2021, right? There's a long gap there. It's more than 50 years. Things have changed drastically. When initially the satellites were built and placed in the orbit, right, there was no problem regarding space junk or space debris. What has happened over the time, when more and more satellites, more and more spacecrafts were launched to the outer space, it started slowly and slowly overcrowding of the space, right? Because what the governments have done, what the spacefaring nations have done, they've only made the satellites, launched it. They've never deorbited it. It was never brought back. So now a big problem has come about debris or junk, space junk, which is lying floating and overcrowding around the earth there, right? Which can pose threat to any space mission going to the outer space, right? So that junk is a big problem. Second, what problem happened over the last 50 years, certain countries like China, Russia, USA, and now India have developed such kind of weapons what is called ASAT, anti-satellite weapon, to destroy satellite in the outer space. Right? Now, if you use a kind of a missile, ASAT is like a missile. If you use a missile to destroy a satellite in the outer space, even the low Earth orbit, it will break, fragment, and form the debris or junk. Before, the time of election, general election in India, the last election what was there, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that India has conducted successfully Mission Shakti. What is the Mission Shakti? Mission Shakti is a anti-satellite weapon test which was developed by DRDO, and ISRO developed a small satellite which was destroyed with the ASAT weapon. Before that, China has also done there. Our neighbor has also done there. Now my question to the class is that, is it not the violation of the treaty? Can we consider India having a ASAT weapon, Mission Shakti, and destroying the satellite in the outer space goes against the provision of this treaty? Is India liable to pay for the damage there? Okay, there is a one question that Pawan is asking, that gravity becomes zero just after Karman line. No, gravity part, see, there become microgravity. Gravity will become small, not the zero. See, as you go up and up, as you keep on going upward, then there is a decrease in gravity. Remember that. I think you have studied that. Acceleration due to gravity, this one. Acceleration due to gravity depends on the small g in the acceleration due to gravity, this part, that depends on the part of three factors: depth, latitude, and also height, altitude. As we increase, right, g decreases with the altitude, with height, right? So it keeps on decreasing. Now Pawan is asking that, will that become zero? If you cross the Karman line, does it become zero? Yes, as it go above there, when you go to exo-atmosphere and all, it will become zero there. As we go upward, it becomes decreases. The value of g, acceleration due to gravity, will keep on decreasing till we go upward. And exosphere, when you go beyond ionosphere, right, there you will find 400 kilometer, 500 kilometer, you will experience wetlessness. You will experience what? Wetlessness, right? Okay, anyway, I'm coming back to my question. Is it a violation of Outer Space Treaty? India conducting ASAT weapon, anti-satellite weapon test, and destroying a satellite in the outer space. Is it a violation of this Outer Space Treaty? Okay, I can go through your response there. Okay, I have gone through a few of the response. More response. Where are others? There are so many students in the classroom. Why I am getting only few responses? Where are the other students? Okay. All right. I'm getting mixed response here. I'm getting mixed response from the students. Guys, you should be active in the classroom. I don't want you to be very silent part of it. Where are the other students' response? Please respond to me. I'm just seeing your response. So I'm getting a different type of logics. I'm getting different logic and reason behind it. My question is very straightforward. Is it a violation or not? My question is that one. I have given you the provisions. Here, I have mentioned the provision. Does it violate there? Use of anti-satellite weapon ASAT and the part of it, is it a violation of this particular treaty? I'm getting no loophole being that weapon not fired from space but would be liable. Okay. All right. Now let's come to this one. See the language. See, whenever you have to deal with any kind of a legal language, right? Whether it's an international law or a national act, you have to be always particularly reading about the statement, what it interprets, how you interpret the statement. Peaceful use of outer space, that is understood. Claim, no country can claim sovereignty, that is also understood. No country shall place weapons of mass destruction. Now when you talk about WMD, it talks about nuclear weapon, biological weapon, chemical weapon, right? But it doesn't include other type of ammunitions. It doesn't include other types of ammunitions. Now there's more sophisticated, more advanced technology like laser. Laser weapons have come up. What has come up? Laser weapons have come. Right? That is again not covered here. Now coming to this one. India conducting the ASAT and even the China did one, and whether it will be a part of the country shall be liable for any damage caused in outer space. What is the key word here? Damage. Now the question comes that when China or India conducts ASAT, has it affected in a manner that damage the outer space or any object or something? So that damage, here the word is damage. Causing damage. Right? If we take this provision, what was India's claim? That the satellite was a very, very small satellite which was placed in low Earth orbit, and these fragments would ultimately will get dissipated. It's not going to see if there is a bigger fragment and that bigger fragment collide with some other fragment or other man-made objects, then there can be a damage caused. Like you have seen in the movie Gravity. In the beginning of the Gravity movie, the space junk or debris of the old satellite fall into the International Space Station, ISS, International Space Station, and there was damage. But here there was no damage there, right? Now what comes here? This one. No country shall contaminate outer space, including moon and other things. Right? Contamination. Now the question comes, what is the contamination? How do you define contamination? Contamination with what? Contamination with some kind of chemicals? Contamination with some kind of biological thing? A bacteria or virus or something of that? What does that contamination means here? Is again not defined by the convention. So as per this one, India is not liable, right? Many of you have got the answer there. That is not a potential threat can be there, right? But the threat part has not been highlighted here. The question comes, is it cause a damage when India conducts the ASAT weapon test? Or second comes here, whether the country shall contaminate outer space or not. Whether the test which was done has really contaminated the outer space or not. These are the questions to be asked, right? Now look at here. I'll come to this one. Now if you see here. If you go to the different opinions are there, right? Right here, let's say mission Shakti and outer space treaty. It will come to your screen here. See here. What is the article here? See here. News 18 article. Does Mission Shakti violate international law or is it shielded? There are a lot of articles have come in the newspaper about part of it. Now see here. Mission Shakti, which was led by DRDO, was aimed at strengthening India's overall security. Right? That the Prime Minister talked about in his address that came to the fortnight before the start of the Lok Sabha election. Right? Now if you see here, this one. India became the fourth country in the world after the USA, China and Russia to demonstrate anti-satellite missile capability by shooting down a satellite. In a special address to the nation, Prime Minister did all this one. Right? Now coming to here, this one. DRDO did was, what are the anti-satellite weapons? ASAT weapons are those like a missile which can destroy the satellite there. Now which countries have used that? Only US, Russia, China and now India has done. Only 4 countries have done. Now this is used for some strategic part of that. Now see here. Where the ASAT can be used? ASAT can be used to even destroy the debris also. Satellites are potential targets of attack for those for causing harm to the military or civilian operation, and that can be, they can lead to the debris part, can be removed. So which law govern the ASAT? Now see here. Now very important part I am coming across here. 1967 Outer Space Treaty, which came into effect in October in 1967. It is the second non-armament treaty. What is very important? Non-armament treaty. Right? The first being the Antarctic Treaty of 1961, and second is there is no expiration date. The first three articles of treaty set out general principles for the use of space, and other articles are intended to guide the behaviors of the signatory. Very, very important one. These three. First three: peaceful use of outer space, sovereignty, and the part of the kind of common heritage of mankind is a guiding part of that. Whereas in the case of placing a weapon of mass destruction, contamination, then those part, these are the behavioral part of this. Right? Now what comes here? Article 4 bans WMD, weapons of mass destruction, from the orbit. See, very, very important, clear language. WMD from the orbit. But where the ASAT was fired? ASAT was fired from the ground. India fired ASAT, or US or China or Russia, all these countries have done from the ground. In the orbit, if you keep a weapon on the orbit in some kind of a man-made satellite and use for some kind of weaponry, then that is going against the outer space treaty. See here, Article 4 bans WMD, weapons of mass destruction from orbit. It does not prohibit missile-borne WMD. It does not prohibit missile-borne WMDs. What does generally WMD consist of? Nuclear weapons, chemical weapons, and biological weapons. They are called WMDs. And that too on the orbit. But what India did? India used missile. So missile is not covered. This is not exclusively given in the treaty. Now again here. Then again, see 67 there. 5 other treaties also issued there. Now limited band test is that comes there. So here you'll find that. Now the question whether ASAT test of India has caused debris. Right? Now this was basically at a speed of 28,100 km per hour. The speed of the ASAT was very, very high. 28,100 km per hour. And that was able to break the satellite into very, 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 very small fragments. Very small part of that. Right? So China tested there. So it created very limited junk. And those junk and debris which are not caused the damage. Right? That came into that part of. So since international law allows satellite to be used for a part of military, so it is not a violation there. So can India say that its trial today does not violate international law? So this one. So therefore it's not a part of that. Right? India has part of this debris program and all. So non-defensive attack or satellite. So it is not a violation. Few of you have already given that part of the answer here. Others have found that, right? So please go to such kind of articles. You will find a lot of such articles in the newspaper which came that time, which talks about whether India's part of ASAT and is the violation of the part. You can find in the print also there. The print, then Deccan Herald, the Hindu, all this has come into the newspaper there. Correct? Ministry of External Affairs also has given about the, now see here, press release. Just after that, Ministry of External Affairs, right, MEA, came out with a FAQ, frequently asked question here, for the media. What was the test? Which satellite was used, right? Interceptor was used or not? Why did we do the test? Again, from the strategic point of view, right? Why was the test done? Is India entering into an arms race in outer space? What is the international law on weapons of outer space, right? Is the test directed against the country? You will find given the PIB site. All right. So this is the one part which you have to remember that. Now what I'll come here, since already time is up, so I need to stop the class here. Anyway, did you understand here this part? So let me give you the assignment question. The assignment question is that discuss. And you have to do the reading from the internet. Mission Shakti. of India. So what is the first part of the question? Discuss Mission Shakti of India. Now second part of the question is that, does it violate the Outer Space Treaty? Provide argument. Provide your arguments. You have to answer this question in 150 to 200 words. 10 marks question. So we are ending the class with one assignment question as your homework question. What I've explained about the Outer Space Treaty and the outer space. Now what do you have to do? You have to do more reading. Just do the Google search, Mission Shakti and Outer Space Treaty. You'll get number of articles. Read those articles, important articles, Deccan Herald or Hindu or any other article there. And based on the input given in the articles, you have to write this question. Discuss Mission Shakti of India. Does it violate the Outer Space Treaty? Provide your arguments. You have to provide your arguments and you have to answer in 150 to 200 words. It's a very, very important question I have given for your writing assignment part. Please try to write the assignment question, right? See, doing the assignment question and trying to read on those topic of the assignment question also enhance your knowledge. You get more information. So your task is that you have to go to the net, try to take some of the newspaper article, the print or Deccan Herald or Hindu, Ministry of External Affairs statement in the PIB, read about Mission Shakti. And then in your own words, write the ASAT test of India. And then you give your arguments in terms of the Outer Space Treaty, does it violate or not, after reading the articles. Right? I am giving you a very interesting question to write. Right? You will enjoy reading and writing the answer. So I'll stop the class here. And now again the request is that all of you have to log out from your science and technology class and then you have to log in into the society class. Otherwise your doubts will not be coming to the society class. All your doubts will go to the science and technology class, which I will not be there to answer. Right? So please log in, log out. Please log out from the Science Tech portal and then Science Tech class in the portal and then log in at 1:30 to your society class. Clear? And your assignment question, please read and write. All right. Now next class, when we'll meet in the next class, we'll go to the concept of orbit. Orbit, types of orbit, launch vehicles. Like we'll be studying about PSLV, GSLV, RLV. We'll be studying about reusable launch vehicle, Gaganyaan mission. Then we'll learn about Lagrange point, transfer orbit, Aditya mission. So now the real movie starts, right? Abhi to picture baki hai dost. Okay? This was just a trailer. Now the real movie starts. All right? So next class will be the very interesting class and you'll get there. And the handout. Please go through the handout. The handout I have already given. Please read it once. I request everyone to read the handout once. Right? This will make you understand whatever I'll teach in the next class. So now we'll go to respective topic in a detailed form. All right? So we'll stop here the class. Any doubt you have, you can ask me. You have 1:30 class there. So if you don't have any doubt, well and good. I'm very happy that you are able to understand class very well and you all are enjoying the class. Right? Till we meet again. So happy Sunday, the weekend part. All right. So we'll meet in the next class there. Thank you. Thanks a lot.